I am Anthony from HashLichNet, and today we're going to talk about the original Transformers Generation 1 TV series. It all started with an idea built around a toy line. Create an animated series and the toys will sell. Hasbro had been doing this for years with great success. During a toy show, someone at Hasbro had noticed that the transforming robots from Japan were receiving a lot of attention. Hasbro finally had its toys. After partnering with Takara, Hasbro exported and changed the design details of these Japanese toys. However, now they needed to create a story. Due to a previous relationship with Marvel Comics, Hasbro asked Jim Shooter to come up with the characters and story based upon images of the characters. With Bud Budiansky and a number of other Marvel writers, Shooter was able to produce Hasbro with the materials that they needed just in time to produce the animated series. In September of 1984, the first 3 episodes of the series premiered on U.S. television in syndication, and Marvel began to publish comic books based upon those stories. It was not too long after that the first line of toys appeared on store shelves. It is difficult for me to review an entire series because certain episodes have their own merit, but perhaps I can explain this series more simply. It all begins a million years ago on the planet Cybertron. The planet is inhabited by machine lifeforms known as the Transformers. Over time, major political dividing lines were drawn, creating 2 primary factions, the Autobots and the Decepticons. As the Great War rages on, the Autobots receive a new leader named Optimus Prime. Optimus was originally known as Orion Pax, sometimes a file clerk, sometimes a scientist, under the command of Alpha Trion. In his youth, Orion was a fan of an arena fighter known as Megatron. Megatron grew up on the lowest rungs of Cybertronian society. He vowed to abolish the class system and create a society of equals. His name was taken from one of Cybertronian's greatest, Megatronus. As Megatron's cause grew, his sense of decency shrank, and he now saw his ambitions as a means to an end, with anyone who stands in his way made moot. With the war nearing its end, the Autobots knew that they were unable to win and fled Cybertron. Megatron, unable to take the victory without wiping out all challenges in fear of future reprisal, decided to follow the Autobots into space to finish what remained once and for all. The end result was the Autobot ship, the Ark, crashing into planet Earth with both Autobots and Decepticons on board. The magnitude of the crash ended up damaging all Cybertronian life aboard the ship, thus causing them all to go offline. Millions of years have passed, and the Ark's computer, Teletran 1, has successfully repaired all of the Cybertronians. As they begin to awake, the Decepticons flee and eventually find their own ship deep in the ocean. Both the Autobots and the Decepticons require energy to exist. Sensors have indicated that Earth is full of energy. The Autobots were luckily able to harness the power of the volcano in which they reside, but the Decepticons hunt for energy around the planet. During the discovery of an oil rig, the Decepticons are destroyed and the Autobots fight to save the human lives aboard. For Autobots, all lives are worth saving. For Decepticons, nothing shall stand in their way. Megatron's goal on Earth is to simply gather energy and to defeat the Autobots. Almost every episode of the first 2 seasons of 65 episodes are about Megatron finding a MacGuffin to finally gain power so that he can destroy the Autobots. Between seasons 2 and 3, the movie is released. It creates a 20-year time jump and introduces new characters, killing off many of the beloved originals. Now the Autobots and some others, including Decepticons, have returned to Cybertron. Rodimus Prime has taken over from Optimus, and Megatron has been upgraded to Galvatron. At the conclusion of the movie and into Season 3, Galvatron and his most loyal Decepticons have retreated into space, still searching for energy. The movie has introduced the Quintessons, now a regular threat to Cybertron. The Quintessons claim to be the creators of the Transformers and desire to control them and their planet. At the same time, the Autobots are still protecting Earth and have since expanded to assisting other planets. Unexpected by anyone, a human scientist named Mark Morgan discovers a hate virus after his daughter Jessica and Gregory Swafford rescue Optimus's body before being destroyed in a star. With the virus still on his body, they leave Optimus to be discovered by the Autobots. The virus is now known as the Hate Plague, and it spread across the universe. Rodimus recruits a Quintesson scientist to revive Optimus so that they can seek a cure for the virus. Rodimus assumes that Optimus has the answers that he seeks. Upon his revival, Optimus fights a now infected Rodimus for the Matrix of Leadership and activates it, draining its energy and curing the virus across the universe. The fourth season sees a timeline tangent. In the United States, they introduced the Headmasters in a 3-part miniseries, and the series ends with peace on Cybertron. In Japan, the series continues with the Headmasters, but ultimately sees the destruction of Cybertron. I have watched the entire US series, the 3 Japanese sequel series, and the movie. Collectively, I enjoy all of the introduced lore and the way a number of characters evolve over time. While the series was primarily made where you could watch almost any episode out of order, the overall progression made sense. Time passed, locations changed, and new characters were introduced. During the Generation 1 run, there were at least 5 Autobot leaders, but Rodimus was the last to bear the title of Prime. Each episode of the original series has some type of inclusive messaging. Take Chip, for example. He was a human who was unable to walk and used a wheelchair for mobility. The Autobots accepted him for who he was, not as a handicapped human, but as a friend to their cause. The Autobots never purposely alienated anyone. As an 8-year-old watching the cartoon for the first time, I was amazed from beginning to end and could not wait to get home from school to watch. We could not afford much at the time, but my first Transformers action figures were the Throttlebots, Goldbug, Searchlight, Chase, and Freeway. I eventually received Scattershot, Snaptrap, and Generation 2 Optimus Prime, but the show never felt like it forced me into asking my mother into buying the toys. I just thought they were cool. Even to this day, I occasionally see a Transformers action figure on the shelf in the store and buy it. More so these last few years than ever before, but I can honestly say that the Transformers is my favorite franchise. And I say that with the caveat that I also love the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but the Transformers mean more to me. To wrap this up, the original series is entertaining from beginning to the end. Even if a few episodes lag in action, some characters add much needed comic relief, such as Starscream. For me, it is all worth it. The universe built from the beginning beats most anything else in popular culture today. Let me know how you feel about the Transformers original series, or Generations 1, in the comments, and remember to like and subscribe.